You can never have too many beanies. This one is divine. It's made of 10-ply wool. I've used 5mm needles, and the pattern is simple but very, very effective. 8 rows for step 1 and then another 8 rows for step 2 to create the checkered pattern. And there you have it. Simple, easy, and it looks divine on. I'm really happy with this one. For the checkered pattern, start with casting on 90 stitches. Knit 8 rows of rib stitch, which is 2 knit, 2 purl. This is a very easy and pretty stitch. The front of your work shows you a very divine pattern, or the inside of your beanie is your purl stitch. This didn't take long at all to knit, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope you do as well. To start the rib, I like to use 2 purl and 2 knit. You could use 1 knit, 1 purl. It's up to you. All you need to do is knit 8 rows. Row number 1 of the pattern, start with knit 1, yarn forward and towards you. Slip 1 stitch onto your second needle, knit 2 stitches together. Well, these are a little bit tight. Slip the stitch over your 2 knitted stitches, yarn over and towards you. Knit 3. 1, 2, 3. And that completes the pattern for row number 1. And now you repeat. Row number 2 is a purl row. Purl all stitches to the end. Now that we've completed step 1 of the pattern, we've completed 8 rows. Now we're going to complete the next 8 rows so that you get the checkered effect. Start with knit 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over and towards you. Slip 1 stitch onto your second needle, knit 2 stitches together, slip the slip stitch over the 2 knitted stitches, yarn forward and towards you, knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Repeat this pattern to the end of the row. Row number 2 is a purl row. Purl all stitches to the end. Once you've completed the band and you've knitted a total of 19 centimetres to the end, it's time to start the decrease. Knit 1, knit 2 stitches together. And you do this all the way to the end, and this is a great way of decreasing the number of stitches that you have. Your second row of decreasing, purl 1 stitch, and then we're going to purl 2 stitches together. So for the final row of decreasing, which is row number 3, I'm going to knit 2 stitches together all the way to the end. Now that you've decreased 3 rows and you have your stitches remaining on your knitting needle, thread the yarn onto a needle and carefully place the stitches onto your needle, because then we're going to gather them around. Okay, now that you've got all of your stitches on, pull the yarn through. I've got a very long yarn here because I'm going to sew the side with the same yarn. So from the inside of your beanie, which is the wrong side, what you need to do is gently pull, because you don't want to break the yarn. Feed the needle through those stitches just to make sure that it's tight and secure. I'll just pull that together. Perfect. I'm very happy with that. It's time to sew the side up. So that's the inside of our beanie. So I simply, and there are many ways of doing this, but I simply collect a few of the stitches and sew it together. Perhaps you could use not such a long thread like I've got. Take your time and just collect some of these stitches and sew it through. Fortunately, because this is multicolored, it's easy for me to pick up the stitches and sew it together. Simply turn it in the right way and you've got it, a perfect beanie. Oh, it looks wonderful. I love the colours, I love the shape, and I particularly like the top of it. Perfect.